back to another Orange Sofa Chat. There's the usual distractions going on in the background. Juliet screaming at Albert, who doesn't want to be screamed at. Or caught. I'd love to tell you they're best friends. They're not. They're really not. Also, Juliet's on the cusp of her first word, which could be dad or it could be dog. We're not sure which way it's going to go yet, but it doesn't really make much sense because well, we don't own a dog, but I think every animal's a dog. Anyway, not here to talk about Juliet's relationship with Albert, or lack of. 2022, in the cycling season, it's always an odd one because it's at that weird point of the year where everyone's riding on funny coloured bikes. So everyone's still in their 2021 team kit, but they're on the 2022 bikes and trying not to get it caught on camera, which we've seen this so far has not been successful for some riders. I do not have that dilemma. I am in Israel Startup Nation kit on Factor Bike still, because for 2022 I am still with Israel Startup Nation. I signed last year for a 2-year contract. Why did I set 2 years? Because security, certainly with the disruption of 2020 with COVID, wasn't quite sure at the time of signing if we were in for another one, so figured it was much better to err on the side of caution and make sure I locked down a 2-year contract with the team. And looking forward to this year coming up. Now, my dad says every single year without fail, this year's an important year, Alex. Whether it be contract year or whether it be the year that isn't contract year, because you don't want to be one of those cyclists that only performs in contract year. However, this year is important because it's contract year again. And I've taken a little look at myself as a rider, looked at what the market's doing at the moment, which it's interesting. I mean, I would imagine there's a lot of older riders that are saying like, the market is ridiculous with how much it's changed, but I would imagine when I was a young rider, the older riders there were looking at the same thing going like, things are constantly changing and you got to adapt to that. Now, I've often been pigeonholed as a time trialist, and it's partly my fault. I'm quite good at it, I'd like to think. I also love it, which I think is partly the reason that I'm quite good at it. And I have like a techie brain, mind, and that really hands itself with time trialing. And I'm not saying I'm going to park it for 2022, but I do have to consider my future in this sport. And when you see the likes of Ghana pumping out 493 watts for 20 minutes in the middle of World Champs ride, I'm looking at that and going, no amount of training or wanting it is going to get me there. I can do that for 5 minutes, and then that's a one-off effort. But the other aspect of cycling that I've always loved, and I have said that on this channel, is the lead out. And my team have signed Giacomo Nizzolo. Like last year, it was absolutely wonderful to be working for Andre Greipel. Andre's retired, and he has been replaced, if you like, with Giacomo Nizzolo. So I think we have a phenomenal sprinter that we can lead out. So I think Rick, Matthias and I will be like the boy band back together, and Giacomo can come in as the drummer. I'm not quite sure who the lead singer is, probably Rick because of his good looks. Yeah, so the focus has to be the lead out this year for me. And for me personally, what we've lost with the lead out a little bit is Chimalai. He's moved to Cofidis, so there's a bit of a gap between me and Rick. Matthias does the long haul from about sort of 5-10k out. It drops me around 2k to go. I'll then take it to 1k to go. Chimo would have then filled the gap between 1k and Rick at 500 meters. Rick takes it to 200, sprinter sprints. So we're going to have to adapt that a little bit, and I would like to work on myself to get deeper into that final kilometre. I've always seen the red kite as my finish line, but it would be nice to get to 800, 700, even 600 and be able to accelerate, which means a winter of sort of tweaking my work a bit, sort of less time working on TT powers and whatnot, and more time working on that specificity, which I'm quite excited about, sort of applying the work ethic that I've had to the time trial to the lead out to try and move that forward. So that's the goal for 2022. I would imagine with Giacomo being Italian, that there's a good chance we'll head to the Giro, and there's a lot of sprint opportunities there, which is exciting. So I think it could be pretty exciting year, and obviously it is contract year. And in another video I'll talk about the rider market at the moment and how it's changed, but it's kind of good and bad for me at 33 years old. It's good and bad, but 2022 could be my last year, and I am ready for that, but I would like to squeeze out another year or two after that. So I mean, you're probably looking at what I've said, and so it's quite similar to what Victor's done lately, and it is. So you have to reshape yourself. It's like, as a rider, how are you useful to a team? If a team is stacked full of climbers, like with Movistar's stacked full of climbers, not many classics riders, so you could go there, put your hand up for the classics and be pretty sure to go. That was when I was there. Whereas if you go to Quick Step, getting in that classics team is a nightmare. As a time trial, it's tough because you have to win. It's to be valuable to a team, you have to be able to win or podium, and there are some phenomenal time trialists now. You know, for a good 5 or 6 years of my career, I could win and podium. I've got a couple of World Tour TT wins, numerous podiums and whatnot, but it's getting tougher and tougher out there. So it's not to say that I'm not going to try, it's to say that I need to be worth something to a team, and for me that worth is more as a lead out man, maybe a breakaway guy, but a lead out man more than anything else, and that's where I'm going to focus my efforts. One cyclist I look up to more than most others in the peloton being Victor Campenaerts, and what he's doing now in road racing, and the no holds barred approach, and really throwing all traditions out the window and just being Victor. So that's what's gonna happen this year. I'm gonna be more Victor.